안녕하세요. 저는 9살 책 읽어주는 르나라고 합니다. 오늘 읽어볼 책은 Miss Lazar Is Bizzarre 입니다. 책을 읽을 준비가 되었나요, 친구들? 자, 그렇다면 책을 읽어보도록 하겠습니다. Chapter 12. Hooray for Miss Lazar! It was the most amazing sight in the history of the world. Mr. Claus was hanging off the side of the school. He could fall at any moment, and we could get to see Levin in person. It was a real cool moment. You should have been there. One of the teachers ran to the office to get Miss Lazar's home phone number. Mrs. Cooney called the number on her cell phone. Tell her to hurry, yelled Mr. Claus. I can't hang on here forever. It was about 1,100,000 hours until we heard the sound of Miss Lazar's scooter buzzing up the street. She screeched to a halt and huffed off. Everybody cheered. This looks like a job for a supercast at the end, said Miss Lazar. How did you get up here, Mr. Claus? Never mind that, he yelled. How am I going to get down? Miss Lazar looked at the wall. She looked at Mr. Claus. Then she looked at me. AJ, she said, remember the secret room I showed you in my office? I need you to run down there as fast as you can. Open the door and get me blue plumber. It has a hole in the wooden handle. Why do you want a toilet plumber now? I asked. Go! Miss Lazar said. Duty calls. Miss Lazar said duty again. I ran as fast as I could to Miss Lazar's office. I grabbed the blue plumber from the wall in the secret room. When I ran back out to the playground again, Miss Lazar had already climbed up to the roof of the school. We had a rope in her head. Mr. Claus was still hanging off the wall a few feet below her. Throw me the plumber, AJ, Miss Lazar yelled. I threw the plumber up on the roof, being careful not to hit Mr. Claus with it. Miss Lazar tied the rope to the plumber. What's she doing? Somebody asked. Who knows? Michael said. Miss Lazar leaned over the edge of the roof with the toilet bowl plumber in her hand. Okay, Mr. Claus said. Okay, Mr. Claus, she said, I need you to hold steady. I'm going to mash this plumber against the top of your head. Why, Mr. Claus? After the plumber stuck to your head, said Miss Lazar, I'll be able to lower you down to the ground. That's crazy, said Miss Daisy, but it just might work. Miss Lazar jumped the plumber against Mr. Claus' shiny bald head until it stuck there. Does it feel like it's good and tight? asked Miss Lazar. Yes, said Mr. Claus, but this is very embarrassing. Don't worry about that, said Miss Lazar. Now I want you to let go to the wall with your hands and feet. I'm scared, said Mr. Claus. I've got you, shouted Miss Lazar. Mr. Claus let go of the wall. Miss Lazar held the rope tight. The plumber stuck to Mr. Claus' head like glue. Slowly, Miss Lazar began lowering Mr. Claus down with the rope. It's working, somebody shouted. I'll say this much, you never know when one of those toilet bowl plumber thingies might come in handy. Mr. Claus sure is lucky that he's bald, said Ria. Well, said Ryan, the plumber really sucks. Little by little, Miss Lazar let out the rope until Mr. Claus' feet touched the ground. Then Miss Lazar climbed down the wall herself, and everybody started cheering and clapping. Hooray for Miss Lazar! Kids were shouted. Hip hooray! She's a real hero! Thanks, Miss Lazar, said Mr. Claus. You saved my life. That's all in a day's work, said Miss Lazar, as she got back on her scooter even on my day off. But now I must take my leave. You kids better get back to class. Duty calls! Miss Lazar had said duty again. After she buzzed away on her scooter, Mr. Claus pulled at the plumber, but it was stuck to his head pretty tightly. He said he didn't mind because it had saved his life, but he would look really funny in hats for a while. All the excitement was over and we had to go back inside boring old elementary school. Maybe someday we'll find out if Miss Lazar is a real superhero or not. Maybe someday Mr. Claus will get over his jealous of Miss Lazar. Maybe someday we'll find out who put the crayons down the toilet. Maybe someday we'll find out what chickenpox has to do with chickens. Maybe someday Mr. Claus will get the toilet bowl plumber out of his head. Maybe someday I'll be able to hear the word duty and not start giggling, but it won't be easy. 자, 이렇게 챕터 12탄이 끝났으며 이번 탄이 이 책의 마지막으로 보입니다. 그렇다면 안녕.